After a nearly 30-year career, 11 features, 7 Oscar nominations without a single win, it's looking pretty likely that Wes Anderson is finally going to win an Oscar for his short, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. And I'm kind of sad about it. Now, don't get me wrong, Wes Anderson is one of my favourite filmmakers and he's long overdue an Oscar. For how well known and how well respected he is, it's kind of crazy that he hasn't taken one home before now. And the short that he's nominated for, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, absolutely fantastic. It's totally worthy of a win. I don't think I've ever seen a film that's so word for word faithful an adaptation of a book and yet feels so singular to the director. Out of all the films that came out last year, whether that be a short or a feature, this was one of my absolute favourites. But if that's the case, why do I have such a problem with him winning the Oscar? For months, movies like Oppenheimer, Barbie, The Holdovers have gotten all sorts of media attention. Even if you haven't seen all of them, you've probably heard of all the movies that got nominated for Best Picture. It's less likely that you've heard of all the films that got nominated for Best Live Action Short. The short film category is one of the least popular categories in the Oscars. At last year's Oscars, the clip of Ke Huy Quan winning his Oscar got over 1 million views. The clip for Best Live Action Short, just 32,000. I mean, if you look at the list of directors who've been nominated for live action short over the last few years, it's pretty likely that you've never heard of any of them. And that's kind of the beauty of the category. It's a chance for unknown filmmakers to break in a big way. It's an Oscar that can change lives. And if you look back further, you can see names that you probably wouldn't have recognised then, but you definitely recognise now. Martin McDonagh, who went on to direct In Bruges and The Banshees of Inisherin. Taika Waititi, who did Jojo Rabbit and Thor Ragnarok. Andrea Arnold, who did Wuthering Heights and American Honey. At the time, none of these filmmakers had directed a feature yet, but a nomination or a win is a massive endorsement from the industry. It's really hard to get a feature film off the ground, and while an Oscar win doesn't guarantee you a green light, it certainly doesn't hurt. This is an Oscar category that can really change lives, which is why it feels a bit weird having Wes Anderson in there. He gets to make pretty much whatever he wants, he works with the best actors in the world, and he's already been nominated 7 times previously for his features. Wes Anderson is a filmmaker that's working on the same level as everyone who got nominated for Best Director at the Oscars, and he's maybe more famous than all of them. And before you question that, how many other directors have got a TikTok trend about them? That's how well known he is. Which sort of sucks the air out of the room for all the other nominees. Because when it comes to winning an Oscar, a big factor is just getting enough eyeballs on your film to sway voters to vote for you. In a typical Oscar season, big companies like Netflix or Universal will spend millions of dollars on advertising campaigns to try and push their films to the front of discussion. But the shorts can't campaign in the same way. They're a smaller category, so it makes sense. But even if they did, I don't know how you would compete against the name brand recognition of Wes Anderson. I mean, if you look at most of the articles about the live action short category, most of them use The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar as their front page image. And you can understand why. These publications run on clicks, people click on what they know, and having Benedict Cumberbatch on the front doesn't hurt either. But it just crowds everyone else out. Now look, I could be wrong. There could be a big surprise on the night, but Wes Anderson is the name that voters know. They already have a relationship to his work, and there's already that feeling that he's overdue an Oscar. And I think he should get an Oscar too, but I can't help but feel sad that he's getting it in this category. And I understand the sentiment that the Oscars should go to the best short film regardless of who directed it. It doesn't matter that Wes Anderson is an established director. If his short is the best, he should get it. But I can't help but feel a little bit sad about it, because this could change the lives for the other nominees. For Wes Anderson, I don't know if it's going to have any effect on his career at all. If you do want to check out the other shorts nominated in this category, The After, Night of Fortune, Invincible, and Red, White and Blue, I'll signpost where you can currently watch them in the description below.